or good morning. This is Wisdom, etc. This is the Overflow 14. We are on the 3rd of September 2025 and it is 5:30 in the morning and it's a bit earlier today. Today I feel it. Some days are better than others and I guess it's the same for you. But the theme today is the art of asking questions. The art of asking questions. Something as simple or as difficult. What comes to your mind when you think about it? We're asking questions. I mean, we ask questions all the time, right? In the day-to-day. We go shopping and we ask about prices. We ask about the weather. We ask about time. But today we are sharing or unpacking a little bit about the art of asking questions, something that I found profound, and I hope you too, because it can actually, asking good questions or learning to ask good questions can actually change your life. It can change someone's life, and we're gonna go soon into it. Now, questions are one of the most powerful tools you have. They can open doors. Questions can open doors. It can bring you into the presence of key people that you need to connect. Questions will reveal truth. When you ask the right questions, you can reveal truth. You can find out what is actually taking place. Questions will unlock wisdom and knowledge, and it will help you to grow. Right? In fact, the ability to ask good questions is one of the most valuable skills you can develop. If you think about Solomon, King Solomon, he was one of the greatest kings in ancient Israel, and he was very rich as well. One of the reasons for that is because he was very wise. And in fact, he was the wisest and the richest man who ever lived. And his wisdom was not just in knowing answers, but in asking the right questions. And he wrote a little proverb, Proverbs 25, and he says, "The purpose of a person's heart are deep waters." The purpose of a person's heart are the deep waters. But one who has insight draws them out. How do we draw what is inside someone's heart? Asking questions. When you ask questions to yourself, to others, when you ask questions to God in prayer, you draw out what is hidden. You start tapping into, you want to discover things. We are looking for answers. And why questions matter? Questions will help you to probe and understand intentions when you're engaging with people in relationships. And questions can actually save your life. And it can save relationships. It can prevent us to keep judgment and that bad feelings when you actually trying to understand what the other person is trying to say, or why someone is behaving that way. It opens the door to perhaps entering someone's heart, in someone's world, and understand what's going on. Bobby the Legend, hi. Hey, great to have you here, Bob. Oh, Bobby, welcome. You're welcome here. Thank you for the engagement. Today we're talking about the art of asking questions. Now, questions, they can shift pressure away from you to the other person. When someone asks you a difficult questions or a tough questions, or you're in a classroom and you have that pressure, or in a business meeting, when you ask another question on the top of that, it's like you're transferring the pressure back to the person. And it's interesting, if you like reading scriptures and reading the gospel, many encounters that Jesus had, people ask him things. Sometimes the religious people or people that want to trick him ask him questions, and he would answer with the questions back. And that's interesting. That's a very clever way to do it, because you transfer the pressure. Why are you asking me these questions? Good master, what should I do to inherit eternal life? And why do you call me good? So that's a way to engaging people in conversations. Questions, they open up possibilities. But if you focus only on answers or the statements without asking questions, you might close the doors down, because you're not opening for possibilities. You're not unpacking a little bit what's there. What else is there to find out? When you're buying a product, you need to ask as many questions as you can. Now, questions also train your mind to dig beneath the surface. You uncover deeper truth. Now, when you ask questions, you break through the firewall of your own limiting beliefs. Your brain often holds the answers you need, but without the right questions, they remain buried, because we see in perspectives. We don't see everything, we don't know everything. By asking questions, we may look at things in different perspectives, and that's gaining wisdom, right? Now, open versus closed questions, you probably heard that before. Not all questions are equal. Closed questions, it's like, are you happy in your job? And the answers will be yes, no, maybe. The conversation stay there, it doesn't go much further than that. But if you have an open questions, what do you enjoy most about your job or your work, what you do, then that opens the space for reflection, for a dialogue, to actually dig deeper into someone's heart, what they think, what they feel about their work or their career. And most breakthroughs comes from open questions. If you learn to, in your questions, if you add how, when, where, which, or why to a person's answers, you can uncover much more. For example, if someone answers to you, oh, I feel stuck, you might ask, how are you doing? And they say, oh, I feel stuck. And the question, a follow-up questions could be, how do you feel stuck? Why do you think that is? Can you unpack a little bit that? And this is the whole idea of coaching, right? This profession is a new, not so much new, but there's a profession out there. There is all sorts of coaching these days. But in the bottom line is asking good and profound questions, where the coach will have engaged with a client, with a coachee. And the relationship is pretty much asking good questions in order to dig what is inside the client. Hopefully the client will have the answers, the solutions for what they are looking for, instead of the coach coming and giving, hey, this is what you do. That becomes consultancy, right? You tell the client exactly what they need to hear. So the profession of coaching is pretty much based on asking good and profound questions. But we're not talking about coaching today. We're just talking about the art of asking good questions. What about self-questioning? You ask questions to yourself. I think this is also very powerful. You are today, the place where you live, the work that you do, whatever you do, your activities. It's because of the questions you have or the questions you have not asked yourself. And you could start with, why do I live in this town? Why do I live in this house? How do I get here? Why do I drive this car? What am I doing this job? Why do I struggle to succeed in certain areas of my life? Um, Another question you could ask yourself when you're making decisions: what would a wise person do in my place? I was listening to a podcast the other day, and someone was telling how they use ChatGTP, and he said, "I put a problem, and I bring people in history in how they would come up with solutions." So he writes the problem. This is what I'm facing. This is the decisions I need to make. How would um, important people, philosophers, but how would Jesus, how would prophets, how would influential people with answers? So imagine if I'm in a table discussing with these all important and very wise people, how would you answer me? And of course, the AI will drag thoughts and will prepare the answer. I have not tried that before, but I found it very interesting. But something you could ask yourself: what would a wise person do in my place? Right. Another very important question. It seems very trivial and simple, but what is it that I really want? What is it that you really want? Ask yourself these questions. What do I really want in life? Because sometimes we're just surviving day by day. You have no clue where we're going. We may have a job, we may be studying towards something, but what is it that I really want? When you question yourself honestly, you open the doors to change. What about asking God questions or asking others questions? You can also direct your questions in prayer. Ask. Even Jesus asked God on the cross, "Father, why are you forsaking me in this time of anguishing?" Asking questions help to process as well. You may not have all the answers you want straight away, but it is important to ask questions. In science, you know, it's building this principle, the whole scientific methods, right? You asking questions, you come up with a hypothesis, you need to justify that. So you keep asking questions until to find answers to justify, and you test it in all these things. And this is powerful. How does this work, and why this is behaving like that? Now, practical actions to train yourself, and you can write down 5 questions you would you ask someone that you admire. Think about a celebrity or someone that you find very influential. What questions would you ask this person? So write down 5 questions that you want to learn from that person. You can also reflect on the time when you stopped asking questions, perhaps because a teacher embarrassed you. I had this problem with me. I was so embarrassed as a child to raise my hands to speak. I had this meek voice in the back of the class. So ashamed to ask questions when I was a kid. And sometimes because of something that teachers have done to us or embarrassing us publicly, and we have this fear of asking questions and we don't ask. Even asking the questions to our boss, maybe to your supervisor, you want to ask questions about how the job is doing, but you are embarrassed. But if you ask these questions, they think I'm stupid. But think about a moment, perhaps we need to overcome that fear of asking questions, especially if it's genuine, you want to learn. Now choose one person each day to practice asking questions instead of rushing to give answers. Instead of assuming things. You see something, you assume it, and you may start a judgment in your head. Ask questions. Now, number 4 is study 3 exceptionally intelligent people and notice what questions they ask. Today is very easy because there are great podcasts out there. Choose your favorite podcasts. Look at the interview, how this person is engaging in the interview. How do they ask questions? How do they bring out the knowledge? I like sometimes to watch the Diaries of CEO. There are others that I watch that I think it's meaningful, depending on the topic as well. The Rich Roll podcast I also enjoyed. So see how these guys are asking good questions. So just as a suggestion for you. Now, the last thing I leave with you is share with two people what you have learned in the area of asking, in the art of asking good questions. Okay, so questions move the world, and they can move your world too. So start asking better questions today, and you'll see perhaps the doors unlocking, doors being opened to you, right? Hey, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I hope this has been helpful to you. And please take this topic, this little nugget of today, the overflow, which is the art of asking questions, and use it in your day to day. It will unpack, or you unlock many doors, and unpack knowledge and unpack wisdom. Hey, hi. How do I say that? Is it JSFB, JHSBF? Whatever that is, and wherever you are. Hi, thanks for engaging, for stopping by. This has been Overflow. Supro, hey, X-War, great to have you here. So each day of the week, from Monday to Friday, for a few weeks, I'm trying to come up with a word, a theme, or something that I'm learning, something I am studying, that I'm exploring, and I share it on the YouTube channel. Right? When I share, I learn faster, and I encourage you to do the same. Let me ask you, do you have your YouTube channel where you use your Instagram accounts to share what you're learning, to share your journey? There's a way to help and bless others. Expo, you have a lot of wisdom to say. Hey, thank you. It's very kind of you to say that. Rena, wonderful world, says, where are you from? I am originally from Brazil in South America, but I live in the UK currently. What time is it for you? It is 12 minutes to 6 in the morning, so 5:48. Yeah. I didn't say that. Oh, you have a lot of wisdom, you say. Now I see a question mark there. Thank you. I didn't spot it on. You have a lot of wisdom, you say. So you're asking if I have a lot of wisdom. What I'm searching for it. I have some wisdom that I attain, but wisdom is something we need to explore, right? We unpack, we search for it. I think there is always a space for learning, and I have a lot of there's a lot of space for me to learn. Why we work so early? That's a good question. I think when you start early, I'm usually up at 4:30, and I gain at least 2.5 hours before my kids are up, and my partner, my wife, and then we start the day, breakfast, and kids go to school and go to work. So I have these 2.5 hours for learning, for studying, and now recently I started these morning lives just to share, instead of having a brain obesity, to get all this knowledge in my head. Why not share it with others? Why not to engage with others with the things I'm learning? Get some sleep. Thank you. What kind of wisdom do you have? What kind of wisdom do you have? Well, wisdom is applied knowledge, right? It's when you For example, when you dig into what I just shared this morning, I don't know what time you joined the conversations, the art of asking questions. If you dig into this theme, there is wisdom into that. And when you go that and you use these tools, you use good questions, that there is wisdom into that, right? Because you're searching, you're engaging with people, you're improving people's lives. So wisdom, it's not just a concept, but something very practical. So it's knowledge being practiced, put into practice. I want to be enlightened. That's a very good thing to aim for, being enlightened. When you say that, comes to my mind knowledge, right? You see things we're not able to see before. And I would start with the book of Proverbs. I would start with scriptures. I would start with connecting with God. He's the source of every wisdom. Are you a bilingual? I speak 4 languages actually. Portuguese is my first, Spanish, Italian, and then English now. I just saw 2 pizzas at a restaurant on the date. I don't know if you understand that, Jacob. Great to have you here. Wisdom is not knowledge. Yeah. Wisdom is not knowledge. So, Expo, how would you define wisdom? Share with us quickly. I have a couple of more minutes before we close, and I need to get going for the day. How do you see wisdom? What is wisdom for you? Wisdom is knowledge put in practice in many ways. Well, that is a very simple definition of it. Okay, guys. Hey, God bless you. I hope this was meaningful to you. Engage with the channel. There are other videos and lives and a few resources that I'm building little by little as we learn, as we study, as we improve our lives, we get things in place, and have a wonderful day. And yeah, keep asking good questions. Learn, dig into that, because that can open many doors for you. Be blessed, and I hope to see you tomorrow. If you want to connect tomorrow for whatever theme it is, I do not know what theme is tomorrow yet, but join us tomorrow morning. Have a wonderful day or evening, wherever you are in the world. Bye for now. Cheers.